The rainy season hit hard on the island of Sodor. All the engines had to be very cautious of the wet rails. This led to many delays across the island, and with delays came complaints. The passengers complained endlessly about the delays, and their sour attitudes were affecting the engines. Due to this, Sir Topham Hatt placed Thomas back as Knapford's pilot to help the big engines get their trains quicker. One evening, James was resting at Vickerstown sheds. He was too tired to puff all the way back to Tidmouth.
This rain is insufferable,
complained James.
I nearly rolled all the way back down Gordon's Hill this morning. Lucky Edward was there to help. There's no way I would have made it over the top. Aye, and the trucks are no better,
muttered Donald.
Hold an engine back on slippy rails. It's exhausting. Well, no use groaning about it. I fear it'll get worse before it gets better.
Unfortunately, James was right. That night, a fierce storm swept through the island, tearing down trees and flooding some of the mainland. The next morning, when James puffed out of the sheds, he was completely aghast at the damage the storm had caused.
Well, this is just great. Out of all the things that could have happened today, this is going to cause problems.
James left the sheds and went to the station to collect his coaches.
Get in quickly, please. Hopefully there won't be any delays.
Little did James know that he had spoken too soon. James was running well, despite the weather. As he puffed down the line, he had to stop on many occasions for broken limbs to be removed from the line. This delayed him dreadfully. When James finally fussed into the station, the passengers were furious. They complained bitterly to the station master. James was cross.
Ungrateful gits,
frowned James.
Did my best to give them the smoothest ride possible, and what did they do when we reached the station? They complained to the station master about the delays. Not even a thank you.
The way they treat us important engines, it's disgraceful,
snorted Gordon.
And it's no better on the branch lines,
wheezed Percy.
I popped up and down Thomas's branch more times than I can remember.
Speaking of Thomas, why is he here in the yards instead of his branch line? Don't get me wrong, we appreciate the help, but he doesn't really seem like himself.
Yes. I see what you mean,
replied Percy.
But we haven't spoken since he collected the coal. I've been too busy.
Well, anyways,
James interrupted,
something needs to be done about these passengers, and fast.
Soon, all the engines were hard at work again, finishing their jobs. James was just about to leave with the express when Sir Topham Hatt rushed frantically into the station.
Everything all right, sir? Ah, James, you're still here. Where are you checking this train? Crovans Gate, sir. I need to get there immediately. My car is having engine troubles. Would you mind? Not at all, sir.
Once he got into his coach, the guard blew his whistle and James set off. James thundered down the main line, trying to make good time. He had hoped his line would stay clear, but his hopes were soon dashed as he saw a fallen branch on the line ahead. James applied his brakes and stopped right in front of the branch.
Oof, this just isn't my day, is it?
By the time James arrived at Crovans Gate, he was an hour and 35 minutes behind schedule. The passengers were more cross than ever and complained endlessly about the state of the railway.
I will certainly have to attend to this matter after my meeting,
Sir Topham Hatt said as he rushed into the station. After the meeting, Sir Topham Hatt could see Henry waiting for him at the station.
Ah, good. I should be able to make it back before nightfall.
As Henry puffed into Knapford, he could see James and Gordon arguing with the passengers.
Oh, here comes trouble.
This railway becomes more and more unreliable each day. It should just close down.
Silence!
Called Sir Topham Hatt.
James and Gordon, I am pleased with your work today, but I am very disappointed with your behavior.
The passengers felt as if they had won the argument.
As for you,
Thundered Sir Topham Hatt.
not only did you cause the disturbance, you made it worse. While I do give you all a sincere apology for the delays that have been happening recently, I am not at all impressed with your behaviors. The way you all have acted is childish, and is, quite frankly, undignified, as a certain ninja would put it. Because of your sulky behaviors, this has caused two of our engines to make a rather brash decision. Once again, I give you all a sincere apology for the recent delays. If it would please the passengers, we will close down the railway for a few days in order to conduct the necessary repairs. We will also provide refunds if necessary. But I shall not tolerate the way you've been treating my engines. Good day, ladies and gentlemen.
The passengers were ashamed of themselves. They left the station that day, humbled by Sir Topham Hatt's words.
As for you two, I shall speak with you later. James and Gordon, while your actions were somewhat justified, they were not acceptable. To accommodate the passengers, you two will have to be put on goods work until further notice. Now Thomas and Henry will have to do your work.
The engines were most displeased. At the yards, Thomas was shunting the trains for tomorrow when Sir Topham Hatt came in.
Evening, sir. Is something the matter? Yes, there is. To please the passengers, James and Gordon will be put on goods work. I need you and Henry to handle the passenger work for a while. Think you can do it?
Thomas was hesitant. He didn't want to make a mess of another important job.
Well, I'll do it. Exit.
But before he could say another word, Thomas puffed away, leaving a cloud of steam.
Okay then. At least my top hat didn't get choked this time.
Thomas was resting in a shed at Knapford Harbor when James rode in.
What's up with you? Feeling the same color as my paintwork. Thomas, I'm not sure what's been going on with you lately, but you've been acting a lot less confident, and quite frankly a lot less cheeky, than you used to be. Is something bothering you? Remember what I told you after the cowl incident? Right, sorry about that. You know, I bet Edward can help you with your problem. He's helped you before when you first had problems in the yard. Maybe he'll know what to do. Edward, of course,
replied Thomas.
Why didn't I think to tell him first? Thanks, James. I'll speak with him as soon as I can. Happy to help.
The next morning, Thomas puffed into the station to pull the first local. He was nervous about his venture, but ready to get his day started.
don't like swearing. Leave now.
Have you ever been sitting in the station and another train is parked right next to you and one of them begins moving, but you can't tell which one, and then it becomes obvious and all the magic is gone? Wouldn't it be nice if we could spend our whole lives not knowing which train is moving? Actually, we do.
What the fuck? Said Edward.